All right, anytime you see a problem like this on your licensing exam, you immediately know that we're dealing with legal descriptions here. These are examples of legal descriptions, and one of the favorite questions that the licensing exam loves to ask is convert these legal description or this legal description into acres. How many acres is in this legal description? How many acres is in this legal description? So I'm going to show you in this video how to calculate that. But before we get started, there are some characteristics that we have to know before we move forward. Anytime you see a problem like that and they want to know how many acres, automatically you know that they're dealing with a section of land. All right? Now, a section of land has some characteristics that we have to know. Number one, we have to know that it's 1 mile by 1 mile. And remember, 1 mile is equal to 5,280 linear feet. Very important to remember that, and I'll show you why later in the video. We also must know to calculate this into acres is a section of land has 640 acres. 640 acres. Very important. So here's a shortcut. I'm going to show you how to do these two. It says the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter has how many acres? Now, anytime you're dealing with this, we have to view this from a compass rule. We have north, south, east, and west. So the northwest quarter and the southeast quarter. The other thing you have to understand about these problems is we have to work them from the back forward. That's real important. Otherwise, you're going to get the location of this legal description incorrect. All right, so first we're going to deal with the southeast quarter. All right, and then we're going to deal with the northwest quarter. Now, if they're just simply wanting to know what the acres are, there's a shortcut. Instead of calculating this out and figuring out where it's located, and there is a math problem when they're asking for linear feet where we have to do that. And I'll show you later in the video how to do that. But right now, they just want how many acres. So there's a shortcut that we can do. Remember, working backward, forward. We're going to deal with the denominators, 1 quarter and 1 quarter. So 640 acres is how many acres is in a section of land. We're going to divide 640 by our first denominator in the calculation or the legal description, which is 4, and that gives us 160 acres. But we're not done yet. We have to do the second calculation in this legal description. So we take 160 acres and we divide that by our second denominator, which is 4 again, which gives us an answer of 40 acres. So the answer to this test question of the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter contains how many acres? Well, it contains 40 acres. Now let's do another one where there are 3 parts to the legal description. All right, so we have the second one here. Now we got the south half of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter contains how many acres? Now, once again, we know that a section has 640 acres. So that's where we start. And remember, we have to work this backwards to front. And our first denominator is 4, the southwest quarter. So we're going to take 640 and divide it by 4. That gives us 160 acres. But we're not done yet. We move to the northeast quarter. We take our second denominator. So we take 160 acres, we divide it by 4, and that gives us 40 acres. And then we take the final calculation in our legal description, the southern half. So we take 40, we divide it by 2, because that's our denominator, and that gives us 20 acres. So the answer to test question number 2, the southern half of the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter contains 20 acres. And that's how we calculate acres for this legal description. Next we're going to do is how to calculate linear feet. All right, in this math problem, we're going to be converting these legal descriptions into linear feet. A common test question that you may have on your real estate exam is, how many feet is in the northern boundary of this legal description? Very common. So what I'm going to do is show you how to, 1, geographically locate where that legal description is within the section of land, and then we're going to calculate how many feet on the northern boundary as the test question asks us to. Now, real quickly, one thing that we have to know is realize is the characteristics of a section of land. Section of land is 1 mile by 1 mile, and remember, 1 mile equals 5,280 linear feet. Very important. We're going to need to know that to calculate the distance of the northern boundary. Number 2 is to orient yourself. You have to understand that we view this as a compass rose. North, south, east, west. All right, so let's look at the first one. So let's work the first problem. How many feet is the northern boundary of southeast quarter of the southwest quarter? And the first thing we have to do is, remember, work these backwards to front. So we're going to deal with the southwest quarter first, and we're going to divide this because it's quarters. We're going to quarter out this section. So we've divided this section into 4 spots, and we locate the southwest quarter. And here's our compass rose, southwest quarter. So here is the southwest quarter, but we're not done yet. We found this location, but now we have to find the southeast quarter of the southwest quarter. So we have to then divide this quarter into quarters again. And then we find the southeast. Look at our compass rose. So this here is our quarter. This is the geographical location for that legal description. Now, it wants to know what the northern boundary is. So we know that this has been quartered out, which means 25%, right? So if we were to draw imaginary lines and quarter out this side, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. They want to know the linear feet in the northern. So we know there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. 5,280 linear feet in 1 mile. So to calculate this, we divide it by 4. That means the northern boundary here is 1,320 linear feet. So that's the answer to question number 1. All right, so let's work our second problem here. The north half of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter, the northern boundary contains how many linear feet, or how many feet? So to calculate this, number 1, we got to find the geographical location of this legal description within this section of land. That's the first thing. Then we're going to calculate the feet. Now remember, this is a 1 mile by 1 mile section of land. And we know that each boundary line is 5,280 feet, which is how many linear feet is in 1 mile. Very important to remember that. There's 5,280 feet in each boundary line of this section of land. So remember we're working with these legal descriptions, we have to start at the back and move forward. So we're going to do northeast quarter is our first part of our legal description. And looking at our compass rose, we know it's right here. So right here is the location of the northeast quarter of this section. But we're not done yet. So we're going to find the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter. So again, we have to divide this by 4. The southeast part of our compass rose, we know the location is here. And we have one more part of this legal description, which is the northern half. So the northern half that's the geographical location of this legal description. Now, part two of the question is, how many feet is in the northern boundary? We know from here to here, from here to here, from here to here is 5,280 feet. And we know that we've quartered this out. This is 25% of the total. It's 25%, or 1/4 of the total length, the distance from this boundary line to this boundary line. And in fact, what I used to do is just kind of draw imaginary quarters over here, and we would have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just another way maybe to remember it. But I know because this is quartered out, or this is 25% of the whole, this northern boundary is 25% of the whole. I'm going to take the 5,280, which is the total number of feet in a mile, and divide it by 4. And that gives us the answer. So the northern boundary of our geographical location in this legal description is 1,320 feet. That is the answer. So that's how we calculate distances within a legal description. And chances are, good chance probably, you're going to have some type of test question like this on your licensing exam.